Hello, hello, welcome back to another episode. Today we're talking about regeneration, and specifically the regeneration of the first Doctor into the second Doctor. The first episode from the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, has just landed, and I thought I'd look back at other first Doctor episodes. When I say first Doctor, I don't mean the first Doctor, I mean the first time we've seen a new Doctor in their premiere debut episode. So these are the episodes that take place directly after their regeneration. Where better to start than first Doctor into second Doctor? So Patrick Troughton, the second Doctor, and the power of the Daleks. This happened directly after the 10th planet, where the first Doctor went back into the TARDIS via a quick jaunt with the 12th Doctor in the snow and the battlefields of Europe. He got back into the TARDIS and regenerated into the second Doctor, and this left Ben and Polly with a new Doctor and a major cliffhanger. Starting out in the power of the Daleks, then immediately the Doctor wakes up and we get some of the somewhat erratic nature that we have come to associate with a post-regeneration scene. The writers and producers at the time likened it to a bit of an LSD trip, which I suppose is a good reference for the time when it's been written, and you get that through the views you get from the Doctor's perspective as he kind of settles into his new body. And then from then you get what I would describe as a toned down version of some of the modern day New Who post-regeneration antics that we are quite used to nowadays. So instead of getting the whole erratic, let's do this, let's do that, it's a more subtle performance from Patrick Troughton as he tests out his new body, dismisses his companions' questions, whether consciously or unconsciously, and begins to root around in the TARDIS, selects a new outfit, although part of the outfit was already there as part of the regeneration, and then just proceeds to wander outside the TARDIS onto Vulcan. I think it was a good start, because back then this whole concept of changing actor or actresses was something completely alien, not only to Doctor Who as a show, but to TV in general. I suppose the difference between then and now is that there was no real gap between one series and the next. One series was shown in October, and then a month later the new series with Patrick Troughton debuted. Whereas here you'll get maybe a year's gap, you'll get a different showrunner, you'll get a different style, as we've seen recently. This was basically business as usual from day one, just a different actor in the lead role. So from episode 1 you get that mild erraticness. A word, erraticness? The Doctor was mildly erratic from the first episode. I also thought the second Doctor was quite childlike and quite impulsive immediately after the regeneration. Like I say, when he walked on out of the TARDIS into Vulcan, he was just kind of pleasing himself and testing out his new body, but also in general just having fun with it, rather than taking the whole situation very seriously, up to the point when he started interacting with the colonists on the planet. There was the inevitable confusion and distrust from Ben and Polly when they first encountered the regeneration and the antics that followed, and that kind of wound its way through the entire storyline. But it was nice to see that there was a difference of opinion between Ben and Polly, where Polly became quite trustful of the Doctor as we moved through the episodes and began to see him as her Doctor. Ben, it took 3 or 4, even 5 episodes before he really trusted the Doctor and really kind of came to see him as the Doctor he knew of old, and trusted his instincts and his leadership in the situation that was developing with the Daleks. It took about 2 or 3 episodes for the real second Doctor to emerge. It was slow going, but that's not a criticism, that's kind of the pace you expect from a classic Doctor Who story from that era. But as soon as the second Doctor started encountering the colonists on Vulcan and was getting involved in the mystery that was going on and the subsequent encounter with the Daleks, he stamped his authority very soon and very quickly, and threw a spanner in the works of what was going on between the rebels and the colonists, and then subsequently the Daleks. Now, whether that was an instinctive nature of the Doctor in general, which I could argue, yes, it was. The Doctor always is quite instinctively sticks his nose into other people's business and makes a point of being quite awkward, quite obtuse, and just generally winding people up. And yeah, the second Doctor was doing that by the second episode. It was also quite interesting to note that the second Doctor referred to his previous incarnation in the third term. He referred to him as the Doctor. Oh, the Doctor got this. The Doctor wrote a diary. The Doctor encountered this. I thought it was quite nice. I don't think we've seen that before in any of the other kind of post-regeneration episodes where the Doctor is referring to his past incarnations in a third person. I think as the story developed, the Doctor, like I say, built into his character, and probably from episode 3 onwards, this story moved back into a normal Doctor Who story. The only exception I would say is where the Doctor first encounters the Dalek when the Dalek is pretending to be the servant of his human masters. It's very interesting to see that kind of interaction because no one else in the story, apart from the Doctor and the viewer, has encountered the Daleks before. So the Doctor knows who the Daleks are. We as viewers know who the Daleks are. And also, the Dalek recognises the Doctor, but doesn't actually exclaim that because they don't want to give away their ultimate master plan for their rebirth on Vulcan. So it was really interesting to see that out of everybody, even at that point, I don't think Polly and Ben were quite sure, but out of everybody, it's the Dalek who recognises this new face of the Doctor. This regeneration episode, of course, was the first ever regeneration episode. I'd never seen this episode before, so I was expecting something different. I wasn't expecting to see some of the things we see nowadays in that episode. I was expecting to see lots of kind of rubber-faced stuff and nods back to the first Doctor. Whilst we did get the kind of rubber face thing and the testing out the body, we also got the somewhat dumbed down madness and erraticness we've seen in modern day Who, but it was done in a nice way, and I think it actually worked, and it lended itself well to the story. I thought the Power of the Dalek story was really good. That's a review for another time, and I think having the additional kind of the uncertainty about the new Doctor getting involved in that story, I thought that lended itself well to the whole kind of narrative. So it wasn't as if this regeneration kind of concept was kind of shoehorned at the end and forgotten. Neither was the regeneration concept the entire focus of the story. It gelled and blended very well into the entire 6-episode narrative and worked really well for the time, and it stood the test of time. It works really well being viewed today as much as it would have done in the 60s. So yeah, it was a good job all round. Have you seen The Power of the Daleks? What did you think of the second Doctor's regeneration episode? Stick it in the comments below, and I'll be back soon with my views on the third Doctor's regeneration episode. Until then, cheerio for now. Bye-bye. You've made it to the end. That's brilliant. Please like, comment and subscribe, and check out my other cool videos. Until next time, it's goodbye from me.